You've been watching this special election series, so these are the last few episodes going out.
Since 1996, BJP is the preferred national party for Karnataka.
The 24 manifesto looks like a
radical document.
Yeah, a radical document. And what influenced Congress in trying to give it a more left tilt?
Whether BJP wins or does not win, there is likely to be some disturbance. It can cause a law and order problem. And I think all state governments and the central government have to be ready for it.
The Congress has absolutely no mass movement which is involved in the grassroots, and it uses progressive movements such as yours as legs to enter the grassroots.
Were we a perfect democracy in 2014? Certainly not. Therefore, I keep on saying we were a democracy just about in the making. Then the last 10 years was a rude and a very, very cruel regression. If we come back somewhat to the rails, I don't know, on June 4th we will know. Otherwise, the struggle is going to be even harder. Then we will have a lot of repairing to do, but we also have to do the repairing side by side with all this introspection and reform.
The most influential ism in the country today appears to be Hindutva. It has taken a long time for this ideology to come of age. But what happened to the other ideological movements that began in the early 20th century? The RSS will turn 100 years old next year, but so will the Communist Party of India. Ambedkarism, Marxism, liberalism, Dravidianism, feminism, Gandhiism. What role are these great big isms of the 20th century playing in the 21st century? What relevance do they have today?
I'm an atheist in the same way as I'm an a-leprechaun.
Why have there been casteism existing in the country still today?
Feminism, by definition, is the belief that men and women should have equal
So the
rights.
nature of the system is to be as mean and rotten as you can, to try to maximize profit.
The national elections are around the corner, and what better time than now to talk about isms? I'm Sudipto Mondal, and welcome to this special election series of What's Your Ism?
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of What's Your Ism? Today we have a very special guest from Karnataka, a man who has spent at least 25-30 years in activism and now has become the co-founder of a very, very special news outlet called Eedina.com. We'll talk about the site he has started and also about his politics. Mr. Vasu, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For having us here in your studio. This is the studio of Eedina, and it's a fantastic place. Congratulations on this achievement. And of course, I hope someday we'll also have a studio like this, provided our readers support with their membership subscriptions.
We are also actually able to build this studio because some people are actually backing this. This building came to us freely for 2 years. Right. So it was that kind of a venture.
And this is the new model, right?
Yes.
I mean, when we move away from corporate style media structures, people's media,
yes,
that's exactly what you've come up with. That's your
yes.
term, right?
Yes.
You describe Eedina, people's media. And of course, you shot into national fame and recognition after you called the 2023 Karnataka Assembly elections correctly. We'll come to that also. But because one of the things that you're known by is these polls and surveys that you conduct.
So more than what other work we are doing, people are interested about the election predictors. And probably they see us as astrologers also.
Astrologers.
In fact, there's certain other things also which were interesting in our survey, but people want only the numbers and the final number.
Yeah.
One of them is the youth between age group 18 and 25 in Karnataka are not that anti-Muslim compared to the elders.
That's very encouraging, no?
Yes, that is very encouraging.
And why do you think that has happened? You think there's more information now?
They're not so much bothered also. That is, again, that is there. They're not so much bothered about a political, what is happening outside. And of course, hate is not something that attracts this generation. I'm not saying this is universal.
Right.
It was there every time, I do not know. But at least at this point of time, that's an encouraging thing.
Wow, that's great to hear. I mean,
Yes.
you're saying that the 18 to 24 category is not so steeped in either hatred or in Hindutva or in polarization.
But there is a sad part to it also.
Okay.
That is, they're not so much inclined towards social justice.
Okay.
So that's a sad part. But because the survey was focusing only on this issue around election, but of course there is not so much intolerance which was there in the millennial generation.
That is my generation. That's my generation.
Yes,
Yeah.
the intolerance or a sort of hatred for social justice theories or such measures
Was greater in
greater in-
90s generation.
Yes.
People who are today in their 40s or late 30s.
Yes, but I still feel that both these things are better in this age group of 18 to 25. And there's much scope for intervention.
Very interesting. Okay. And nationally, is there a prediction you want to make?
Well, no, we have not done our surveys. Earlier,
But you've been reading what's been happening. I mean, from that, and you are connected. Your aquifers are connected across the country, right? And
Yes,
you
that
are
is-
connected to activist groups across
Yes.
the country.
I feel that BJP will not get majority. NDA may still fall short of majority or may cross it a little bit. So a weaker Modi will probably return.
And a weaker Modi means what for democracy?
Weaker Modi is very, very good for democracy. And any absolute power at the center has done more harm to this country. It is not just Modi, even in the previous regimes. And coalition governments actually have done well. Yeah.
Because I was speaking to one of your, how do I put it, co-travelers, Sudipto Mondal, who's been part of the progressive movements in Karnataka.
So actually, Major General Vombatkere and myself, we were together 25 years back when that was my first few years of activism.
Okay.
When we were fighting this nice road, Bangalore-Mysore infrastructure
right.
corridor. Yeah. He was a very senior, retired by that time.
By the time, right. He was, I mean, he didn't say in as many words. I hope I'm not, summarizing wrongly, but he was talking about how, because of this kind of slightly weaker mandate, it might turn Modi into a more insecure person, and he's afraid that this election may trigger certain forces to kind of create a law and order situation. That a weaker Modi is actually a more dangerous Modi, an insecure Modi is a danger to democracy. Do you share those fears? What kind of things do you think will play out?
That can be there for a very short period. But I think Indian democracy, particularly the more oppressed sections of Indian voters and population, they will save this democracy. It is not the elite. But these people, because they are the decisive chunk in this election also, because of the fear of changing constitution and taking away rights from minorities and others, they have stood against BJP and NDA. And you can see that second phase onwards, Narendra Modi started saying all nonsensical things and he tried to convert this into Hindu-Muslim. But I don't think that Indian electorate have bought that.
His ability to create social discord is backed by state actors, and that's what makes him dangerous, right? Now, if let's
State
say
actors and media, the so-called
media,
mainstream media,
which amplifies and justifies and probably encourages this kind of violence, but the state actors, you're looking at the central agencies, you're looking at the army, you're looking at the paramilitary forces, you're looking at perhaps even the judiciary, sections of the judiciary. And large sections of the bureaucracy. I from what I gather from my reporting in these Modi years, is that even in states where they are not in power, through the IAS and IPS, they're able to, create.
for example, in West Bengal.
Yeah, no, but Tamil Nadu.
Tamil Nadu.
With the help of, our Telangana, we saw this, right? When the Rohit Vemula struggle was going on. Right, the way the government managed to clamp down on the student agitations in Hyderabad was not entirely the doing of the BRS. Although, of course, we have consistently placed the responsibility at the desk of KCR. Off the record, the government would say that these IPS officers are not in our control. So that ability to kind of control the bureaucracy, to control the state, do you think that is where the law and order threat comes from?
Yes, definitely, and Indian bureaucracy is also casteist, and this support for Narendra Modi or BJP or RSS also stems out of the caste structures and the caste apprehensions. There's an irony that Brahmins in this country feel that they are oppressed.
Right.
And So that kind of insecurity, if you call it insecurity, is there in that bureaucracy, and who want to. Otherwise, I don't think that the final report that came on Rohit Vemula issue would have come like that.
Anyway, that's...
And it's good that News Minute reported it quite well and early.
For us, it is just a matter of revising because we'd already done the reporting, back in 2016.
Right.
It was so surprising that all of, back then we believed, I was in the Hindustan Times back then, News Minute was also reporting. Back then we believed that the amount of material we put out in terms of reportage, investigations about the Rohit Vemula case would stand the test of time.
Correct.
Suddenly we were left in 2024 with the prospect of going back 8 years, pulling out all our old reports and just representing them.
Correct.
So how quickly our work was forgotten and how quickly the narrative again comes back to, oh, Rohit was not a Dalit. He was a political student, not a serious student, and so many other things. Anyway, but that's a good primer now to get into your journey as a political activist, as an intellectual in Karnataka. And I want to go into that because I think your journey will help us also look at the transitions in Karnataka's politics. As far as the progressive space is concerned, right? The different kind of movements that came. You've been associated across these 25 years with these movements. We'll start with where you started. So you are a doctor by training.
Yeah.
And in the late 90s, you got into activism. Let's start with that. What was your trigger point? At what point did you decide that I don't want to become a practicing doctor, work in a corporate hospital, and instead you got into the movements? What exactly happened and how did you get into the movements?
No, this thinking actually started much before I joined medicine.
Where did you do your medicine from?
Bangalore Medical College.
Okay.
So...
And you hail from where?
Sorry?
You hail from Bangalore?
No, I am from a village in Gauribidnur Taluk. And in fact, when I was studying in high school itself, actually this a sort of rift or fight with the family started. Basically, like many such individuals who are born into the upper caste families will have. So that was there, and it started with the family and father.
The first
on
descent.
Caste, huh?
First descent.
Yes, first descent on caste and existence of God, belief and all that. So it started there, and then probably in 9th standard or so, I was clear of that I will not do this path. I still remember because from 1st standard till 9th standard, I was the class leader, selected by the class teacher. So I remember in 9th, I told one of my friends that I've become this basically because of my family background. From 1st standard onwards, the teachers chose because my father was the village Patel. So they're Gaudru, Ur Gaudru early. So at 9th standard, 10th standard, I refused to become that. So I told my teachers that I will not be the class leader. Then they said, you become 1 in 5. Then I did not contest for the school union. So, and privilege was so much that somebody else was elected, since I did not contest, but the teachers made me special secretary. So this is the privilege that people get in this country, right? So, of course, I did not deny that. Probably I also had that ambition. I was in that dilemma. That dilemma
is a very tempting thing, right?
Very tempting thing, yes.
Power is very
Power is, and I've seen that power in my family. My father was a political leader.
Achha. In a party politics?
Yeah, party. He was in Congress party most of his lifetime. So power is actually very tempting. But that dilemma is still there till now. I don't say that that is not there in me, but at the same time, whether I should be there in the center leading something or not. The dilemma is continuing.
That's your to be or not to be
question. Yes, that is still there. So, but by that time I had decided what to do in life. So either
how so early? What was your influence? 9th standard early now cricket football harkon tirgarta idvi.
Probably because of I don't know. First it started with the belief in God. So it's
what shook your belief in God?
So no, but that was also because of Dr. H. Narasimhaya. I studied in Dr. H. Narasimhaya National High School. H. Narasimhaya probably well-known rationalist, and so that was the first thing. Second was, of course, one of my uncles was in a way part or co-signer of Dalit movement in that area. So he used to teach me English also, and at the same time, of course, I saw that other family members do not agree with him on most of the things. So that is how it started. But very soon it was basically Lankesh Patrike, which shaped
By
what I
when?
am.
By the time you were in college?
So no, it started when I was in 10th, but from first PU onwards till I finished my MBBS course, every week, without actually, not even a single week I missed Lankesh Patrika, not even a single week. And that was the influence that Lankesh had on my generation probably.
My generation? How can you say generation? You're a medical student. I'm sure your entire class must have been ignorant of these things. And
No, at least 10 of my classmates knew
Really?
Lankesh. Yeah, I do remember that. Most of them not from Bangalore, but from different
we
parts
imagine
of the
medical
land.
students as these people who are just first rankers, who have nothing.
Yeah,
no
when I
concern
say
about-
my generation, it is not that in absolute terms, and of course not all medical students, but of course even in medical college, in my medical college, government medical college, there were many who used to read Lankesh Patrike. I definitely remember.
That
in
was
fact,
your foundation.
In fact, two of my friends in medical college went to meet Lankesh at one point of time.
Okay.
And we couldn't meet Lankesh, but we met one more person there, Basuraj Megulkeri, who is sitting now here as our editor.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Life comes full circle.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was already clear that what to do, and Lankesh Patrike actually gave us those values at that time. So if we are secular and all that, we must all do that.
And then what happened after medical?
After medicine, yes, at that point of time, I came in contact with an organization called Mahila Jagruti, which was also working with Karnataka Vimochan Ranga. I became member first of Mahila Jagruti, then of Vimochan Ranga. And
that's a bit of a interesting thing, right? For a man to be joining a women's organization, how did that
basically I came in contact with an organizer of Mahila Jagruti, Lalita.
Achha.
So her influence was there quite on me and those days. So she was part of Mahila Jagruti. And also because...
And what kind of issues were they taking up?
No, that issue also probably made me to join that organization. They were campaigning against a drug called quinacrine, which was actually used to sterilize women. It was actually a clinical trial without any permission.
Mm-hmm.
So it was done in India, some companies were doing it, and also in Bangalore. So Lalita wanted me to join that fact-finding team, and that is how...
Of course, you were a doctor and you understood.
Yes, that is how I got into it.
Okay.
And in fact, one medical student, my friend in medical college, she is now in UK. Both of us went to that particular nursing home, which was actually allegedly running that clinical trial illegally.
Where was this?
In Bangalore.
In Bangalore.
So anyway, that was not proved, and that particular hospital was running it. But anyway, we could actually, that campaign was quite successful campaign. Mahila Jagruti led it. So that is how we got into it. Then Karnataka Vimochan Ranga.
Karnataka Vimochan Ranga. Let's get into that.
Yes.
See, we have grown up listening to these stories about the ultra left, and how Vimochan Ranga was one of these formations which really put the ultra left agenda on the map in Karnataka. Is that correct, or were there organizations before that also? Is this the first?
No, it was not the first organization. First organization was probably PVK, Pragadipara Vidyarthi Kendra. But Karnataka Vimochan Ranga in that sense was not an organization which was openly supporting the ultra-left movement. But many people in Vimochan Ranga had those connections. Earlier, they were from PVK, Pragadipara Vidyarthi Kendra. Yes.
Okay, so this ultra-left, this is a term which has come to be used quite loosely. There's an entire constellation of organizations which are described as ultra-left. So, according to you, what is ultra-left? Is it just carrying a gun and going into the forest, or what is ultra-left? At a time when you have, say, a CPI, a CPM, you may have some revolutionary socialist party.
Yes.
So what is the ultra-left?
Well, this term
is
probably
it only Maoist? No, or is it something else?
No. You know that CPM was the split away group of CPI, probably in 1962-64,
yeah.
And in 67, Charu Majumdar, the district secretary of CPM from Siliguri district, or that area. So he came out, and in 69 CPI ML was formed.
Yes.
Now probably you have some 50 or maybe even more than that ML parties in Karnataka. So ML, it is not that ML is Marxist-Leninist.
In Karnataka there are 50 organizations.
No,
all
no,
over the
in
country.
all India. Maybe more than 50,
More
not
than
just
50,
50.
Yeah.
ML groups who said that armed movement is the only path for revolution, and the electoral path is that of compromising with the state or all that. So those parties are called ML parties. So you call it ML or Maoist, now they're being called Maoist.
Actually, will you indulge me in a slightly theoretical question, and I'm not sure if I know exactly the answer to this. Let's say revolutionary or let's say armed revolutions are inspired by Mao. Whereas if you notice in India, like you said, there are 50
Not just by
more.
Mao. I mean, the Marxist theory itself has this theory of violent revolution. And I don't think that there is any imagination within Marxist circles of a peaceful revolution. I do not think so.
Right. But nevertheless, why do you think it's Marxist-Leninist and not Maoist? I mean, why is it ML?
No, that is just to, like you can see many political parties which name themselves with some abbreviation or name.
Yeah.
It is just that to say that we are not the earlier organization. Otherwise, when you say that CPI Marxist, it does not mean that CPI does not uphold Marx. In fact, CPI, CPM, everybody uphold both Marx and Lenin.
Right.
So it is just to distinguish themselves from CPI-MM, CPI-M. The CPI-ML got that name. So somebody may say CPI-MLM, that is Marx, Lenin and Mao. So it can be like that. It is only to distinguish themselves from the earlier party, but not that there is no difference. There are certain differences. Sometimes it is like after some time you don't know what is the core difference between this party and that party.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's
for
why I
example, between CPI and CPM. Of course, there are differences, but there are very minute differences. And CPI, ML also, there are now many such parties, and there are certain differences on how do you understand the Indian society.
Yeah.
Or how do
That
you
is
understand,
basically the thing,
how,
right?
how do you understand the present stage
Yeah.
of this society? And what is your view on, say, whether India is a feudal country, a semi-feudal country, or a capitalist country? And in some states, for example, what is your understanding on caste? That started much later, mostly after 95. Till 95, the debate on caste in Marxist circles was very, very less. And of course, CPI-ML was basically working amongst the Dalit community. In fact, in Andhra, CPI-ML...
Bihar also, right?
Bihar also. No, in Andhra, we used to call them Malamadigolla party.
Ah, right.
Okay. So, I mean,
I
their
think
entire work...
in Bihar also they call Chamarong ki party or something. Some like that kind of one slur is attached to the party.
Yes, and they were
I think they took on
actually
the Ranveer
working...
Sena over there. And
Yes, yes. They were working for the most suppressed communities. In fact, if untouchability is loose in some areas, it is in those areas of Telangana where this movement was quite strong. But still, understanding caste in toto and their position on Ambedkar and those things were lacking clearly. So that started somewhere in 95. But not that it is complete till now. But anyway, that has started fortunately at least as late as 95.
Compared with the bigger parliamentary parties, you believe that the ML parties have engaged more sincerely with the question of caste?
Well, they were more engaged with oppressed communities, basically because they consider India as a semi-feudal country and land question is the central question. So you will have to work amongst the landless people and in the most backward areas of this country. In fact, the ML movement was strong, and even their presence now is limited to the most backward parts of this country, even now. So that is how they got attached with more and more the oppressed communities and Dalit community. But understanding caste in its comprehensive way, framework, that was not there. That was definitely not there. So, as you said, compared to the so-called mainstream left parties, these organizations were better.
That is the difference in the line, or approach, you can say.
Well, I'm not that too theoretical person.
No, but let's come back to the practicalities of what happened in Karnataka. How from the women's organization you became a member of the Vimochana Ranga.
Yes, Vimochana.
How long did you spend? How much time did you spend?
Well, it started in 97. 97, I was still 97, 98, I was still in Mahila Jagrati, and 98, 99, I became a member of Vimochana Ranga. And probably at that time, or probably by 2000, I decided I'll probably not go back to my village. Because earlier it was like my passion to go back to my village. I had even designed the kind of clinic that I'm going to build there, and what I'll do after 10 years. After 10 years, I'll quit practice. These were the romantic ideas that I had. And in the organization, we started working in Bangalore slums. And after a point of time, my senior comrades in the organization asked me, "What's your future plan?" I said, "I'll be going back to village." He said, "Why?" So I said, "Because that's my passion. Why should I be in a city like this?"
Yeah.
Then they told me, "Yeah, good. That's a good thing. But do you think that cities don't have poor people and where you don't have any role? And probably you're going back there because you, as an individual, you want to become a big social reformer or something, and this is your individual careeristic or something of that sort." I exactly don't remember the words they used, but this is what that was conveyed to me. That rather working in a collective and a big organization, you want to be some heroic work.
Right. And lone wolf kind of.
Yes. So then probably that actually hurt me, and for 2 days I took time from them, and for almost 2 or 3 days later, I went back to them and said, crying, that okay, I'll not go back to my village.
Institution is more important than the individual.
Yes, something of that sort. And I stayed back in Bangalore till 2006, and then I went to India.
Okay. And 2006 is when I entered journalism, which is when I saw you for the first time. And back then, not just you, Gauri, Lankesh, and Pradeep from Pedestrian Pictures, Deepu from Pedestrian Pictures, KL Ashok, who else? From Udupi, you had Shiv Sundar and Phaniraj.
No, Shiv Sundar was in Bangalore.
Sorry, not Phaniraj and G. Rajsekhar. That duo over there, and the Adi Udupi case, where Hajaba and Hasnaba were stripped and paraded.
Yeah.
That is the first time I noticed the formation that you had. You had the ability to bring a cross-section of organizations into the struggle. I remember there were farmers' organizations. Of course, there were Muslim organizations, but you created, you raised hell in Udupi when the protests happened.
In the sense, organization, yeah.
The organization. And that organization was called the
Karnataka Komusavarda Vedike.
Or the Communal Harmony
Forum. Yes.
Right. So this Vimochana Ranga stint kind of merged into your Komusavarda Vedike. Tell me about that transition.
No, actually Vimochana Ranga, of course, it initiated Komusavarda Vedike in 2002. At that time, it was called Baba Budangiri Savarda Vedike.
Right, of course, yeah.
So Baba Budangiri, Anant Kumar declared that this is going to be
Just
Ayodhya.
Quickly, in case you're wondering about Baba Budangiri is South India's Ayodhya, in a sense.
Anant Kumar said that they are going to convert it to the Ayodhya of the South.
And well, they did everything that they could to do that.
Yes,
there were a lot of
but they were not successful.
They were not successful. Yeah. Or successful, because right now, if you see the condition of Baba Budangiri, it's this.
No, but it was not demolished like Babri Masjid,
of course.
Even like people did not buy their argument after some time. We could successfully pose a counter. I'm not saying it is over now, but we could successfully pose a counter to that. So in 2002, that was the time when RSS tried to organize Dattamala in a very big way. It was there for almost 3-4 years, but that way it was very big. And more than that, 2002 February, Gujarat had happened. So that had actually People were concerned about it. And in September or so, Gujarat elections happened. And Narendra Modi was re-elected there.
Right.
So that shook many people. And in October, Dattamala happened. So Karnataka Vimochan Ranga and many other organizations together were fighting this mining the origin of Tunga and Bhadra rivers. So that was called Tungabhadra Ulisi Horata Kota. And and Shivamogga was the center of it. In fact, the first meeting was not held in Chikmagalur regarding Baba Budangiri. The first meeting was held in Shivamogga. And there the formation of Baba Budangiri Savarda Vedike and decision to hold a very big convention on December 29th in Chikmagalur Azad Park was made in Shivamogga.
Which year this is?
This was in 2002. And that year Gauri was not there in the movement.
Right.
In fact, personally, me who was reading Lankesh Patrike every week till Lankesh was there, they later stopped reading Lankesh Patrike. In fact,
During Gauri's time.
During Gauri's time. Because for two reasons. One, before that I had joined this organization, and Lankesh, was a Lohiite.
Yeah.
And by that time I had read Ambedkar, and I am from the erstwhile Kolar district. The influence of Dalit movement was quite strong there. And my views, I could see that this left organization has a different opinion on Gandhi and Ambedkar and even on Lohia. And all the Lohiites in Karnataka, they had a different opinion. And I was there was a dissent. So my comrades in the organization used to mock at me that there is a Lankesh here. Okay.
Okay.
So, but after some time, I became totally uncritical of the organization. To begin with, I was highly critical of what they think and say. But after some time, once you marry the organization, you become uncritical. So for a brief period, I was very
speaking
uncritical.
about Vimochan Ranga.
Vimochan Ranga.
Okay.
So then, after that brief period, there was a serious difference of opinion within the organization. It was not just me. Of course, there were seniors who had differences much earlier. So that difference cropped up in the organization. Anyway, so that is one reason why
These differences, see, the thing is, this show is about differences in ideology. So can you briefly tell us what those...
Yeah, I'll just come to Gauri and then...
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for this reason, since I married the organization ideology totally, then Lankesh Patrike I didn't read after that. Okay. And secondly, how can daughter of Lankesh take over the Patrike? Because it belongs to everybody, every one of us. Okay, and Gauri Lankesh is from English journalism. She does not know Kannada.
Delhi educated.
Delhi educated, and what values she'll bring here, all that. So we stopped reading, and in 2002, the first convention of Baba Budangiri, we did not invite her. We did not, in the sense we did not feel like there is a person like this. But in 2003, not just she came there, but she played a very important role. And from there onwards till September 5th, 2017, it was really a great journey of Gauri Lankesh. That was a different thing. Anyway, so...
we were at the point at which in 2006-07, you had built a kind of a statewide network by then.
Yeah, Komusavarda Vedike could do that, but the differences within organization in Karnataka Vimochan Ranga Mahila Jagriti was very clear that the kind of, as you said, the ultra-left line that was there in the organization, many people had a very different opinion about it.
About Komusavarda, about the Communal Harmony Forum?
No, not Communal Harmony Forum. I'm saying the line of the ultra-left line of the organization. You said that's what we were to discuss. Yeah. So those differences actually became very clear. In Karnataka, we shouldn't take the Andhra line, and Andhra line itself is China line, and mass movement, and we should understand the Indian society in a different way. This is not just a semi-feudal society, this is a caste-ridden semi-feudal society. So our position on caste and Ambedkar should also be different. And the old kind of adventuristic line should not be taken. So this was the difference. There were many other issues.
In those circles, this word will be taken very offensively, right? You call us adventurous.
Yeah, if you call somebody like that, they'll say you are more reformist or...
comprador.
Not comprador. Comprador is the word that's used for the big bourgeois in India.
Okay.
But of course, ದ್ರೋಹಿಗಳ ತನಕ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, opportunists, all that will be used. So that started, and by 2006 it was complete. There was a split in Karnataka, ML movement of that organization. This is only one part of the larger left circle. There's a bigger left, all that. So Komsawar Vedike was initiated by Karnataka Mochan Ranga, and 2003 it even grew bigger, and we took the right-wing forces head-on. We campaigned all over the state. In fact, in every district there was campaign against, it was like Baba Datta Bere Alla, Hindu Muslim Shatrugalalla. Baba Budan and Dattatreya are not separate, they are one. And Hindu Muslims are not enemies. That was the campaign. And Shiv Sundar, Ramatarikere and many others, they also wrote a monologue, Benki Agalolada Belaku, and that was again, it was a comprehensive movement from theoretical aspect to pure practical things, campaign, legal battle, fighting the government was Congress government. All that happened in a very special way, and we could put them on back foot. Though inch by inch they also moved ahead, though now they cannot mobilize very huge crowd into Baba Budangiri with all the communal frenzy. That is not happening. But still, they could get power in Chikmagalur. City Ravi, one election from there, yes. Jivraj from Shringeri, Sunil Kumar from Karkala, all three were the big
people
names.
Who were the big names of the Baba Budangiri, whatever the Sangh Parivar's faces.
Yes.
They all benefited electorally.
Yes.
But over time, we saw that Komsawar Vedike as a name, platform, slowly vanished from public view.
Correct.
And Jan Shakti came after that?
Well,
so Jan Shakti, tell me about Jan Shakti and Komsawar Vedike.
No, Karnataka Mochan Ranga was the organization which got split in 2006. Okay. Not just split, it withered away. Withering away is a word in Marxist parlance, that state will wither away sometime. Okay. So that organization withered away in 2006 or 7. So many, some people went with the old organization, some of us came out. There was no organization as such, but Komsawar Vedike was not an organization. It was a platform of many.
It's a federation kind of a structure.
Federation kind of. So that continued. And probably in 2011 or so, Jan Shakti was formed. Yes.
Okay, so tell me about Jan Shakti now.
Well,
is Jan Shakti an ultra-left organization, you think?
No, it's a left organization.
Okay, but why does everyone in Karnataka refer to it as an ultra-left? Just because Vasu and
not Vasu, I'm not in Jan Shakti also now.
That also, we'll come to that also.
Yeah, so no, because some of them who were leading Jan Shakti were from earlier Karnataka Mochan Ranga. So that is one reason. And after 2014-15, Noor Sridhar and Sirimane Nagaraj, who were earlier with the Naxalite movement in Karnataka, they were allowed to come open.
Surrender.
And surrender, of course, face the legal trial, and they came out and they were part of Jan Shakti. So that is what people think like that. But the manifesto, or whatever you call the documents of Jan Shakti, you can't call them ultra-left. They are not.
So what is the manifesto of Jan Shakti?
Well, it's a left organization. It does not speak about the revolution in that sense, but they basically say that there are 5 different inequalities. It's not just class, caste, gender, and this communal oppression, and also the centralization or national oppression that they call. These are the 5 inequalities or oppressions that are there, and they have to be handled comprehensively. You cannot say that only class is important or only caste is important. These are the 5 things that you need to address. And second, of course, they they buy the Marxist thought, but at the same time consider Ambedkar as an important or guiding thought. And also feminism. So because these are the two things, the caste and understanding and caste, gender and environment, these are the three things which were not part of the mainstream Marxist parlance since 90s. So this organization wants to address those things. Yeah.
And you left that organization.
Yes, I left.
Why did you leave that organization?
Well,
and okay, a lot of you must be wondering why I'm asking all these questions of Vasu. If you visit this part of India, you will know that this is a man who has not just guided but been an important part of many people's struggles.
No, I take strong objection. Guidance is a very big word. I've been an activist all through my life and not into so much of theory and trying to explore new things. May not have achieved much things, but I've learned a few things.
Okay.
So otherwise, these things are bigger things. Yeah.
Okay. But I can definitely say that in these kind of new ideological, theorizations and things like that, you have played a very important role. Whether you accept it or not, I've been observing you for
there were
some
many bigger leaders and many people who have worked in the grassroots. Of course, I had opportunity of working with, say, organizations that you mentioned, like Vombatkere was a bigger platform, and with intellectuals, I worked in urban slums in Bangalore and Mandya. I also worked in villages, farmers movement. Earlier, I was part of women's organization. So these are the opportunities that I have got, which many activists won't get. And I also had the liberty or privilege to try some new things since there was an autonomy for Mandya organization, things like that. Many activists also won't get that. So even big leaders, sometimes they'll, from the beginning till end, they'll be in, say, a trade union movement or something. So their experience will be limited. Except that there were many big leaders, theoreticians, and hundreds of activists who have built all this. So yeah, that's the reality.
Okay, and
I'm not humble.
Fine.
This is the reality.
Fine. No, but then let's come back to the Jan Shakti thing. Why did you quit Jan Shakti?
Well, unlike other previous organizations, I respect Jan Shakti even now. They are one of the most, they are bigger organizations, bigger role is being played by Dalit organizations, farmers organizations in Karnataka, other left organizations, many progressive organizations, all that. But Jan Shakti also has its role. Its role is also increasing. It is growing. It's a cadre-based who are committed to the cause and also relatively open to new things. So these are the reasons why I respect them. And in some or the other way, we do work together also. But why did I leave that organization?
Yeah.
So.
And now you're part of Jagrita Karnataka.
Yes.
Okay.
That's still an idea, not an organization. Okay. An idea which is trying to become an organization. So there are many people who have initiated that, not just me, because people attribute it to one single person many times.
The criticism, if at all, of Vasu and his group. Of course, there is Vasu, there is Gauri, the other Gauri. From Jan Shakti, there's Mallige, there is Sirimani Nagaraj, is that they are in different organizations, but it's the same people, right?
Yeah,
so,
but
like when you say that you have started a new organization and that you're no longer part of Jan Shakti, and now of course you're part of Eedina, but there are Jan Shakti people in Eedina. Are they part of the board and?
Well, Eedina was initiated by 6 organizations. And there is Karnataka Rajya Rait Sangha, there is Dalit Sangarsh Samiti, one of the groups, and Gramina Kulikarar Sangha. They're like this. There are 6 organizations. And people think that these people are same also because we work in some common spaces like Eedina, number 1. Number 2, we are not against each other outside. Generally, if an activist or an important committee member is pushed out or that person himself or herself goes out, then generally they make accusations against the previous organization. And they are seen as enemies. Openly they come out and issue statements.
In this case, that is not, that's not at all come up. In fact, in this case, it has come up because...
when that happens, people easily understand that these two are different.
When that doesn't happen, people understand it as the same people are calling themselves different names.
Yes.
What are they up to?
Yeah, that is true. Because people naturally expect that when some person comes out of the organization, every day he or she should write against the previous organization in Facebook. Okay, right. And they shouldn't see eye to eye. I mean, Jan Shakti is very mature organization in that sense, that even those who criticize them, they don't have that enemy kind of relationship, and not with a person like me. And there's some people who are related also in that organization.
Yeah.
I mean, Mallige
is your partner.
And she's in Jan Shakti. So these people do not understand that things can be like this. But I do have strong differences.
Let me know about that. What are these differences? Because this is all about ideologies, isms and factions. What are your differences with Jan Shakti?
Well, the first difference was the stand regarding the electoral politics. That is how it started. It started when Jan Shakti was started probably in 2011-12, but much before that, when we were a group. Since that time, my strong opinion was that electoral politics is very important, and any organization which wants to see that there is change in the society should seriously venture into electoral politics directly. That you should form a political party or join a political party, not just an electoral political party, and work into it. So that was one major difference.
Which Jan Shakti did not want to do?
No. Of course, Jan Shakti is now part of many initiatives which is actually playing some role, some significant role in elections, all that. But still what I feel and what they feel is different, number one. Number two, I think the 20th century kind of movement building, organization building is not so relevant in 21st century. Okay. So some of these things I owe it to Mika White. Of course, whatever he is now is a different thing, but Mika White is one of the co-founders of Occupy Wall Street movement. Okay. So he also wrote a book called End of Protest. So not that protest is over, but the old forms of protest is over. So I think old forms of protest, old forms of organization, and old forms of movement, they are not so relevant now. Okay,
and
so
your old school comrades or your co-travelers who came from that time, the prime example is Shiv Sundar. They've become very strong critics of the line that you have taken over the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's critical of Jan Shakti also. And of course, he thinks even discussing with me is useless. I mean, we are friends.
Of course, you are friends.
We'll respect and love each other, but he has a different line.
One of his criticisms is that in pursuit of electoral politics, Vasu and the group of progressive people in Karnataka have become handmaidens of the Congress. Right. How do you respond to that on the surface, and then we'll get a little deeper into that?
Well, I don't respond to any individual thing, but I think about the stand about Congress like this. See, this is not ordinary time at all. So we are living in extraordinary circumstances where you need to rework on your alliances. So people, I mean, we are sitting in Eedina, and you refer to Eedina also. So people imagine that Eedina is sponsored by Congress. Okay.
Right.
And I must only say that if you are outside Congress and see them from distance, you get frustrated, and if you go too closer to them, you will feel more frustrated. Okay. About their strategy, their commitment to the cause, all that. So it is not that Congress has this idea of promoting any media organization which is fighting the right-wing media ecosystem. Congress does not have that kind of a strategy or commitment, number one. Number two, Congress I mean, this is not Eedina's stand, this is Jagrita Karnataka's stand. Eedina is a common space, there's not just we are there. So we strongly feel as Jagrita Karnataka that Congress is an ally in this fight. Okay, it is not that Congress is private property of any family or any person, but it's an idea which took birth during the freedom movement, and it has got support of most marginalized sections of this country. They are now fighting there. So, and you are fighting a very big battle, a battle in which a republic is in crisis, and a person who is sitting next to you in metro is hiding his or her name just because they belong to a particular religion. And the kind of attack that is there on social justice issues. And do you think that you alone can fight it? Or a group of intellectuals, activists or organizations? No, I do not think so. So a new kind of political and social formation, a new kind of social and political alliance has to be built. And what we are doing is also an experiment. On what many people who are trying they're all experiments. Not that anybody has the final answer, right, that this is the way in which we will succeed in this fight of building a better society. So when that is there, I mean, accusing anybody of, say, you're towing that line, this line, and you're working closely with Congress is all, does not carry much weight to me. I mean, sometimes I even don't engage in such discussions also.
Okay, but I was just listening to this, what's his name, the RSS thing, BL Santosh, right? And he's saying that the Congress has become an ultra-left organization now. So now
but Narendra Modi himself said that Congress manifesto is Muslim League manifesto and a Maoist manifesto.
Yeah. No, but
so
on a serious note, I mean, now we have discussed in detail that being left or ultra-left or, all these formations that you've been part of have not been involved in some, guerrilla warfare. You've been involved in mass movements and struggles and things like that. It could also be a serious question from a progressive standpoint, which is that what influence do you think you've had on the Congress in trying to give it a more left tilt? Because we see now, if you compare, I was just going through the 2019 manifesto of the Congress. I mean, the respectful word to describe it would be childish. Okay, because it seemed like some 12th standard kid had done some project work, and that was the 2019 manifesto. The 24 manifesto looks like a
radical document.
Yeah, a radical document. And where do you think that comes from? Do you think that, and this is yours is a case in point. What pragmatic decision you've taken in Karnataka to say that we have to work with anybody who is an ally in this journey. This is something that's been happening in other parts of the country as well, and progressive movements have joined opposition parties, or not joined, but let's say they've added to their campaign. What influence ideologically are you having? Do you see as having going forward?
No, not me. I do not have any such influence.
Not Vasu. I mean,
yeah. I mean, people imagine like that you're close to because you were seen in an interview or program with an important minister. Or sometimes in some program, some minister, chief minister refers your name.
That I think you should take in your stride, because for a lot of people it will be a little surprising, right? From ultra left to Congress. I mean, it's a bit of a visually, it's a bit of a striking.
People do not know the journey of an individual, right, like the way you are now asking me. That I mean, I was a dissenter from the very beginning in that line.
Yeah.
Except for a brief period where I was uncritical. Throughout, we had a different opinion, and I personally had a different opinion about the electoral politics from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. And not just me, many people had a different opinion on the stand of the left vis-a-vis Ambedkar or caste line. There are many such people. It's not black and white on all these things, but people do not know, or people do not ask these things to anybody's right. So they'll have their own imaginations. Yeah. And similarly, people also have imagination that, okay, this person was seen with this minister for 3 times on stage, he interviewed him, so he must be. I do get calls like that, that tell this minister on this.
Yeah.
So I wish I had that kind of an influence, but I do not have. Karnataka, I mean, but I definitely feel that it is not the individuals, but the circumstances have forced Congress to take this position. When there is a ultra right-wing government in this country, which is pushing not just for a communal divide, but there is a hit on the communal harmony and minorities, women's rights, Dalit rights, and also on social justice, and on poor, and all that is happening. Any electoral party which is opposing them and at the same time will get votes of, because these people are majority. If you say that the Ahinda community or say poor, they are majority in this country. So it is not just that Bahujan basically. So in Karnataka you can call it Ahinda. So, and this party also wants to come to power, right? So you cannot say that Congress is pushing such a radical manifesto only to get votes. But you will also slowly start thinking that in that line. So Rahul Gandhi and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, the same people who led the same parties, say for 10 years, 15 years or 30, 40 years, but slowly you move towards that direction. This is a natural phenomena, and you really believe, probably I don't have doubts about Rahul Gandhi or Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge that everything in their manifesto is only for votes. They probably believe at least 75 or 80, 90% of what they have written in the manifesto. So it is these circumstances which have also pushed them. And during that time, many movements and some intellectuals, some activists, collectively what they have done and pushed, that would have led to this kind of a manifesto. So there were some 5 people in Delhi around Rahul Gandhi who have pushed it. Is too simplistic. I don't think so.
But okay, how do you respond to people saying today that the opposition parties, not just the Congress is the largest among them, a variety of parties, be it the TMC or the southern Dravidian parties and all of them, that none of them actually have a mass movement, so to speak. And when you're trying to take on the BJP for whatever its other faults may be, in terms of units, they have an SC/ST unit which is actually on the ground doing stuff. They have women's organizations, they have education wings, they have propaganda wings. These are all parties which are like slightly wingless, no? Because their only wing is the electoral wing.
Wings.
Yes, but their only wing, the primary wing that really functions, which comes alive every time there's elections, is the electoral wing. And that their mass movements are essentially the progressive movements, which are now acting as the mass movements of these parties.
The BJP's wings are also, like Congress wings, are not doing much. But there is RSS. RSS is the real political party in this country. BJP is also official and Congress also that kind of thing.
By that logic, I don't know if it is really a correct analogy to give, but by that logic, you can say that the CPM, for example, its backbone is the CITU. Its backbone is the SFI. Right, so in that sense, there is a mass organization, then there is a political, electoral this thing. So, but on the other hand, the Congress, let's take that again as an example, has absolutely no mass movement which is involved in the grassroots, and it uses progressive movements such as yours as legs to enter the grassroots. Is that a valid thing to say?
Well, I put it in the other way. That is it Congress which is using these organizations, or is it these organizations who are using Congress? It is both ways. Because whether it is CPM or any progressive organization, they themselves cannot fight this election on their own. They do not have a political party of their own. Okay, and now that there is a big party which has cadre, which has a legacy, which has resources to fight this election, and you are also using Congress, right? It is both ways. So you cannot accuse anybody of using the other. So it is both sides. So once people find a different political party or form their own political party which can independently take this battle head on, then they will not go with Congress, right?
And so what is the future for that? That's actually the bigger question for anybody who is a social radical.
Yeah, I think this election has one of the important fallouts of this election is that whether Congress will maintain its left of the center position like this, will Rahul Gandhi, Mr. Kharge, or whoever is at the top of the party can include all these things even in future? Will they continue to fight if Mr. Narendra Modi comes back to power? Or will they continue to implement these things if they themselves come to power? These are the things which are going to decide the future of many of the organizations and movements who are in the left of the center. So that is because the probably a sort of conviction that Rahul Gandhi is putting out. Okay. It is also not time tested. Of course, we feel very happy when a person of that stature, that location, is saying things like this. And it looks like he has conviction. But it has to be tested
but Vasu,
in the next few years. Without that, just because somebody is saying, and he also looks like he does not have control over the party.
Yes, I was coming to that.
Yes,
actually.
his own political. I mean,
no, because see,
many people in Congress look like BJP people, right?
You take a DK Shivkumar, right? A classic example, a feudal lord who calls himself Bande. Okay, Bande means rock, and rock why? Because he's a granite king. He has quarries all over South Karnataka. You have a Gehlot. You have a what's this person's name? The former Chhattisgarh chief minister Baghel.
No,
right?
Forget about all these names. There can be mixed.
No, these are big names. These are big names.
No, I'll give you a better example. That is Kamal Nath.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, Kamal Nath. Yeah.
So Rahul Gandhi goes to Madhya Pradesh.
Yeah.
He campaigns there during Vidhan Sabha election, and he is hell bent on pushing caste census. And Kamal Nath does not say it even once.
Yeah.
And he's a Brahmin mostly. And in fact, you are fighting a chief minister who is OBC. BJP chief minister is an OBC. And this is the contradiction within Congress. But that is fine. The contradictions do exist. What is the trajectory from now onwards will decide the future course.
Is the contradiction, I'm sorry to cut you away, I didn't mean to do that, but I'm just saying, is the contradiction the base of the Congress, and is Rahul Gandhi just what appears on the surface?
Sorry?
These contradictions, is that the foundation and the base of the Congress, and what Kharge and Rahul Gandhi represent is just something superficial on the surface?
Well, but
because the congressman I see outside my door in my neighborhood, right now in my area, okay, Urabba is going on. Urabba is this village festival in which they have taken over the entire neighborhood on its head. They have these, from 4 o'clock in the morning, they have been doing shlokas on the loudspeaker. They have literally forced everyone in the neighborhood to contribute money. We were forced to pay 5,000 rupees to them. For us, the congressman in the neighborhood is that fellow who sits in the katte, in the circle with his boys, and that is the nature of that party. That in every neighborhood you go, every constituency you go, if you say who the congressman is, the biggest muscle guy, the biggest real estate guy in that neighborhood is the Congress guy. Okay, then based on whether it's a reserve constituency, bring some Dalit fellow, make him stand. So that if that's the basic nature of that party, how much of a danger does the parties in entirety pose to progressive movements? Can they swallow them? Can they use them and throw them?
Well, as I said, using is from both sides. And if Congress does not change itself, Congress is trying to occupy the left space. Congress is trying to occupy the space of the progressive movements that you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
And on the ground, there's nothing progressive about them. The actual grassroots worker of the Congress is the local tough.
No, you cannot say like that. If you say, for example, in Chikmagalur or South Canara, do you think that a seasoned BJP leader and a seasoned old-time Congress leader are the same? They are not the same. They are not the same.
Yeah, like a Janardhan Pujari is not the same as
Nalin Kumar
Katil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even if you go down, and slowly all those, like if BJP continues to be in power, all those who represent the values that you are afraid of will move towards like that. Most of the corrupt politicians are now actually
on the other side.
On the other side.
Yeah.
Even those who were in Congress or any political party, they'll all move towards BJP only. So maybe in Bengal people say that in such cadre from CPM have also moved towards BJP, right? So that also happens. That is why I said that because of such a political condition, Congress is appearing radical, and whether it is only appearance or will it trickle down to the final cadre, that will decide on many things that we are talking about.
And definitely that will also depend on the pressure that progressive groups generate upon them.
No, that is the pressure that the BJP puts on. Okay. Progressive organizations want to build their own organization. It is not that they want only Congress to be radical, right? They will, or CPM, for example, they want to build their party.
Sure.
So it is not that they want Congress to be more radical, because Congress is occupying its space, CPM space.
Right.
They speak about, I mean, they have not spoken.
And your space.
Of course. I don't know where our space is there. We are trying to, I mean, this is a new idea which is evolving into an organization. Yes.
Right. Okay. That's a lot of ground covered. Vasu, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope this discussion helped you understand Karnataka's politics, where progressive politics stand in India, and where its future is. Thank you so much for joining this episode of What's Your Ism. And Vasu, thank you very much for letting us use your studio. Hopefully one day we'll also have our studio with your support. See you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.